They let me know that on Wednesday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon I could come to Bethany House. And they took me to this beautiful place. And I was thinking, oh, that's pretty cool, nice. And she goes, no, this is where you're gonna live.
In 2009, the opportunity came to move into an apartment building setting. So now each family has their own apartment, their own bathroom, their own kitchen, and it gives them greater privacy and more independence also. We're able to accommodate any victim, including men who are victims of domestic violence. Where other shelters may not be able to serve boys over the age of 13, we've had many high school boys that have come with their mom. I use the female pronouns she or her when referring to victims purposely. And that's not to diminish that it doesn't happen the other way around. But overall, 90 to 95% of victims of domestic violence are women who are being hurt by their male partners or ex-partners.
We have 16 units available for our shelter program and 14 available for Step Up at this time.
All the apartments that we provide to families are completely stocked with everything they need, and furniture, and personal hygiene items that they may need while they're staying with us.
They're given all the services that they can imagine. Individual therapy if they want it, a social worker. They have so much they can do that the sky is a limit for them now.
All I had was a high school diploma. I had no other schooling. After I completed my bachelor's in education, that was for public affairs and communication, I immediately rolled into my master's degree, and that was in a special program at the university for counseling.
They are not inmates, and that's a misconception that a lot of people have in the community. Oh, are they on house arrest? And I'm like, no, they're victims. You know, they were a victim of crime. They haven't committed a crime.
Just keep going to school. Then pretty soon the licensure started adding up and the education added up, and I became better at what I did and more confident, and I believe that I've had impact on people, just kind of like Bethany had impacted me.
We have 2 programs at Bethany House. Everyone who comes through our doors starts in the shelter program. After they've been there at least a year, and if they meet the criteria, they have the opportunity to move downstairs to our Step Up program. The folks who live down there pay rent. They have a little more freedom, but they still get the safety of the building. They still have access to the advocates and the supports and the resources that the shelter participants have.
It sounds as though you've stepped back a little bit and looked at it.
Every survivor's journey through Bethany House is unique, shaped by her past, her needs, and her personal goals.
Well, the services start with where she's at and what she identifies as priorities for her. So that could be legal issues that are going on for her, trying to get protection orders in place, going through the long process of divorce, helping her to get connected to a good attorney, go back to school, get certified in something that would better enable her to get a job.
No services are mandated. It's really what they want. And many times, when clients come to Bethany House, they don't know what they want.
I didn't close the front door to my place for almost 2 months. The whole time I lived there, I kept the blinds open so I could see outside. It took me almost a month to be able to take a shower without asking for permission.
Bethany House does offer on-site counseling to many of the residents if they need it. Many times transportation is a barrier for the survivor, so if they need a counselor to come on site, that is available to them.
Bethany House brought in a counselor for me to see on site 3 days a week. She had me going outside on my own, just to be outside 5 minutes, 10 minutes every hour. I want to say it took me almost about 90 days where I could close the door and slept for 4 hours.
It may take them a week, it may take them a month to decide what services they want to be involved in. Some people may not want to be involved in any services. It's really up to them what they want to do.
We also have folks who come and do like case management for mental health or trafficking.
In Nigeria, I was a high school teacher. Somebody gave me an offer to come to the United States to better my future, to make enough money to help in the education of my children. It was very difficult when I was leaving the children. In fact, we cried. Without my children, without my family, no friends, it was horrible. And I look unto God. I said, when will this come to an end? Is this how I'm going to die? I cried all night. God, help me. Let me see my children again.
Celestina finally escaped her captivity and found shelter at Bethany House. When her case was investigated by the FBI, she was identified as a victim of international human trafficking. Celestina's children were flown from Nigeria to the United States and reunited with her.
My children, the 5 of them, that day it was like a miracle. I was so happy. We were all happy.
When my mom went to US when I was 7, life was hard because I didn't have anyone to teach me how to do stuff. And then when I was 12, I came here and saw her, and then I was so happy because life was hard living without a mom.
They lived with me at Bethany House. The staff at Bethany House were of great help to me and the children. I don't know what I would have done without Bethany House.
So it's been, I don't know, very refreshing.
After emergency needs are met, Bethany House residents often begin to focus on developing life skills.
If someone's going to become independent, they have to understand how to budget money.
If you don't have the money in there, they do not take it out. So.
How to improve their credit score. One of the goals in the financial literacy class is that they open a savings account or a checking account, and we teach them how to do that.
Sometimes there's physical disabilities happening because of the abuse that's gone on.
The blows that I would take in the middle of the evening have left me with kidneys that are considered boxer's kidneys. The horrendous sexual things that I went through with my abuser, I didn't stop bleeding.
This type of work can be really challenging. You hear a lot of raw, hard things, and you help people through some really emotional times.
I had an entire team working on taking away what he had done to me so that I could live.
The children of Bethany House ages range from newborn all the way up to 19 years old.
Oklahoma?
Children are in such a vulnerable position when they are witnessing domestic violence, when they're hearing the insults against their mother, when they're seeing her put down constantly, when they're seeing her controlled, and they're hearing all the blaming that's put upon her for what's happening in the home.
As I worked with the children, they were across the board.
If you were this little boy, how would you be feeling about the police coming all the time?
Scared of the police coming.
A primary group, that tended to be more of a play therapy. The middle kids, they had a lot of frustration, I think. I think they didn't know they were in conflict. They loved their fathers, they wanted to be part of their life. Some of the boys were learning behaviors that were inappropriate, how to talk to their mothers, swear at them, call them names, kind of model what they had seen their dad do. And the adolescents really dealt with a lot of anger.
But when you treat me like that, I feel like your father is standing there doing the same thing.
You're over-exaggerating.
They didn't know how to communicate. They were frustrated themselves. They felt like they had to parent a lot of the younger children. Sometimes they felt like they were parenting their own mothers. It was a lot of kind of restructuring who they were and building self-esteem for them across the board.
You can do anything.
We have a full-time youth program coordinator who works with all of the kids, and she provides advocacy in schools and daycare. She provides on-site programming and activities for the kids. She does enrichment time with the kids, one-on-one tutoring, and educational support.
Bethany House provides a learning zone for the children, age-appropriate games, computer lab, where they can go in and do homework, do research, things like that. The teens typically like to hang out in the lounge where there's a TV with cable, and the littler kids like to hang out in the learning zone with volunteers where they can paint and do things like that.
We have a playground for families to go out and hang out together and really connect and socialize.
What we've seen at Bethany House is that relationship between child and victim, usually mom, is very damaged. Our work really starts at trying to build that trust, trying to put her in the position of authority, because usually the child will see mom on the same level as them because she's never been allowed to be the parent. She's never been allowed to be mom.
I have noticed a little puddle underneath the sink.
When I need to do a repair inside a unit, when the children are around, I want the mother present so she knows exactly what's happening. She feels in control of the situation because many times she was not in control of it before.
We want to empower her to take back that role, to help the kids see that she's capable and that she's able to keep them safe and that she's making good decisions.
Should we try it?
Yes.
Okay, let's see what happens. I want to show the children that not all men are something to be afraid of. Not all men are angry and abusive. And it kind of gives them that reality and a new direction that this is not as bad as it was before. And they can trust again. And you have a nice day, and I'll see you kids.
Okay, thanks so much, Tom.
It's amazing to see families come in on day one and the dynamic that's happening between mom and the kids.
The last couple of weeks have been a little rough.
How there's a lot of disrespect happening from the kids' point of view, outright rebellion and disobedience, name calling against mom.
So many times, little boys watch their dad beat up mom and they think that's what they're supposed to do. And little girls grow up thinking that that is how they're supposed to be treated.
And when we are able to provide them with support, group and family counseling, it's amazing to see a year and a half later the transformation that can happen in that relationship.
I didn't realize there was so much disrespect going on.
And they've been able to tell us, I see my mom in a different light now. Now I understand what was happening and I understand what was going on. But it's a long road. It's a long road to recovery.
After 1 year, some residents choose to remain at Bethany in the Step-Up program, while others move out. Either way, survivors can still connect to Bethany and its resources.
Now we're tackling issues like employment and education. They're at a new point in their lives. So I've helped folks get housing, access furniture resources, food banks, clothing resources. So just helping them with social skills and how to reset boundaries now that they're outside of the Bethany House bubble.
Bethany House is not meant to be a permanent home. Eventually, each survivor leaves to fashion a personal future.
Ultimately, it's up to the survivor if they want to stay at Bethany House or if they want to move on. And it's really just a conversation on, are you sure that you're ready?
It was huge for me. I had never lived alone in my life. I had never lived without a man in my life.
The last thing we want to do is set them up for failure. So we would do budgeting. Okay, this is what your rent will be, this is what your bills will be, this is how much you make. Is this realistic for you? The most important thing that we always let residents know is you can always come back. If there's ever an issue, our door's always open, and we're always here to support you.
I always had somewhere safe to come back to, even if I made mistakes. And have a safe place to go home to, with people to put their arms around me and go, it's okay, we'll do it different next time.
I know right now to this day, if I needed anything for my kids, for myself, I could go back to Bethany House and say, look, I've fallen down, I need some help. Can you please help me and my children? And I know they would.
The legacy of Bethany House is its survivors. Since 1984, victims of domestic abuse have come through its doors, taken time to heal and grow, becoming confident and stronger. They leave not as victims, but as survivors.
I believe that we helped women to realize there were options so they wouldn't feel trapped, that there was only one way to live their life.
Currently, I'm clinical director at a women's treatment facility. It's long-term, homeless women, 6 months to a year. Most of them homeless, have lost their children. basically the same condition I was when I came to Bethany House.
Since Bethany House, I now rent a house, living with my 5 kids. I'm very proud of my children. They are doing real good with their education. The boy is in college, studying his pre-med biomedical. The girl is in college, studying BSN nursing. The oldest in high school wants to be a doctor. The youngest wants to be a lawyer.
My son has given me a grandson, 4 years old, who is the light of my life. There's nothing like a grandmother's love. It's just unexplainable.
I was able to buy my house. I was able to pay it off in full. And I live in a really good neighborhood. I never wanted my kids to be going through what I had to go through. I didn't want them to be homeless. I didn't want them to be hungry.
I'm in a very good place now. I have 4 children, 6 grandkids. My kids have been everything. They went through all of it with me.
She's the strongest woman I know. I knew the things he did to her, and there were times where he would pray all night that she would wake up. You didn't know she was dead. And then you'd wake up in the morning and breakfast would be being cooked and everything was back to normal as it usually were, and you got dressed and ate breakfast and you went to school. How she made it through and still be such a loving and caring person, I don't know how. And sometimes I get mad and I wish I could make it up to her because her life has been so hard. But she doesn't give up. She's a fighter.
I have a good life. I have a great life. I got my degree in mental health technology. I own my own home. I have never been married since, and don't want to be.
I've been with this man, it'll be 8 years in October. He's so amazing. He treats me like a queen. He takes care of me and my boys. He works 2 jobs. I can come to him and talk to him about anything. He is my best friend. And we've been talking about marriage, and I'm getting excited about that because I really love this man, and I know he loves me.
I want to study law, and we'll see where that goes from here. Right now it's paralegal studies, and if there's one thing I've learned at Bethany House is you set your goals in one step at a time, and then you see where that journey takes you, and just keep moving forward.
When I think of Bethany now, a smile comes to my face because they have evolved so much. We did what we could back in the day, but now they really understand and we really know what we need to do to help these women.
I don't use the word proud very easily. It's just not a natural word for me, but I can use it about Bethany House. I am so proud to have been a part of the history of Bethany House. Just thinking about that makes it worth getting up tomorrow and starting the battle all over again.
As we go marching, marching, unnumbered women dead, go crying through our singing, their ancient call for bread.
The fact that we still need a Bethany House so desperately is heartbreaking. The fact that we have a Bethany House gives you hope.